do we, since these are prepared by the board clerk or board of
Yes,
selectmen,
Lori did that.
do we still approve these as well separately as board of
No,
finance?
we don't accept
Usually,
it.
I just put it up here so
We
that
don't-
people would see it. Normally you would not approve it, it would be the Board of Selectmen that would approve it.
That's right. So that we go to the, just what, our Board of Finance special meeting minutes,
Okay.
if we can't, if there's something wrong, we can't change it.
So I'll make a motion to approve the January 15th, special meeting minutes for the Board of Finance, as presented.
Is that Lisa? Yeah.
That's just all the resolutions in that meeting. Any discussion on that one? All in favor?
Aye.
Do we need to do anything, since there's item B, do I need to,
Just say no action.
no, actually, okay.
Okay. Any amendments to the agenda? Not much of an agenda, you wanna change the dates of the minutes? All right.
Yeah, maybe just the only, would be a discussion about getting the grant administrator to come in.
Okay.
Do we have to add as an amendment, or?
I had a little discussion about that, and, some people didn't think it was a great idea, some people said that it's a great idea, we have somebody, but should it be the grant administrator, or, who should do it? I'd say whoever's out getting these grants should follow through and also give us a report on the grants, how we stand, how much we're spending, like this one. This last one here, that's going to Quaker Farm School. There's a little problem with the electricity, connecting that electricity in, okay? So there might be some hidden cost in that, I don't know, but, it'd be nice if, we had somebody we could always go to and run to. We kind of trust Herman on this and the school building committee, right? Herman does a good job, don't get me wrong, but we should have somebody in-house to say, approve all the bills, see all the bills, how much, when they go out for these grants, how much the town's getting hit with these things.
Well, so everybody can understand what the problem with the electricity is. There's phase 3 power going up Governor's Hill Road, and that goes up to the schools and feeds the new middle school, Great Oak Elementary, and the library. Then there's phase 3 power that comes up Hodgeback Road that feeds Public Works, and I think the first one that I said also feeds Quaker's Farm. Then it feeds Public Works, but the two phase 3 powers are not connected. So what we're trying to do is get it connected, so if the power goes out on Governor's Hill Road, Eversource can do their magic switches or whatever, and power will still be coming in from Hodgeback, and vice versa with Hodgeback, so we won't have to be running on generators as much. Hopefully that'll happen, but again, Eversource would have to, it's really no sweat off of our back, it should be on their dime, because it's gonna make it more reliable, especially since the emergency operations centers at Public Works and the evacuation shelter is at Quaker's Farm.
And I thought Herman had mentioned that they had accounted for that within their,
For the hookup to the one school, but not for the whole improving the reliability of Eversource's network.
okay. I thought he had mentioned something about connecting
He
the
says
two.
it's all in there,
Yeah.
be careful, be careful, okay? I said, for all the stuff they got all through those boards and everything, all the money we spent fixing all the schools, okay? From the pool pack to fixing the pool, the Quaker, first Great Oak, all the work we done there, we almost made it a new school. And the new middle school, and that one, I said, probably, you'll be lucky to get a nail clipper out of us from in the future, after all this capital, I mean, and what's sad is everybody says, oh, every time, like, we'll go to a meeting tomorrow, probably, and they'll say, you only spend so much per pupil, right? if you add in all what we really spend on schooling, it's a lot more. It's, for people, I don't know how other people, they said it's consistent, how they get the, charge, I don't know. But it's a lot. And, yeah, there could be a surprise there. But is it worth getting done? We'll get it done, and please get this off our back. It's been a long time. Okay.
Excuse me, so you suggested an amendment, are we doing a motion?
No, I guess not. I think we just talked about it, right?
Yeah, that's it.
So my question, I don't even know if it's the right place on here. So, but the question I had was, what's the result of getting the grant writer / administrator to come in here and talk to us?
I had mentioned it. Somebody that didn't think it was a great idea.
But
Okay.
isn't that up to us to decide to send out that
It
invite?
is, but unfortunately, we can't take that person, can't put her from part-time to full-time. We can't do that. So, that's the problem. I'll be glad, next meeting, she'll be here, okay? Next meeting, she'll be here.
To give you a little update, and I know First Selectman Temple, and he and I have talked about it, he's in favor. The difference we have is he wants to have them writing grants also for the Board of Education. And I'm saying, yes, write grants for the Board of Education, but non-student related, so we don't have to worry about student confidentiality or anything else, special needs, special education. But if it has to do with construction or whatever, we would do it from this end, with the grant writer.
We always do.
Yep, she sat in, I had a meeting with the state auditors on the closeout of the new middle school, which opened, I believe, in 2020 or 21. And it's moving at lightning speed, which is kind of sad that it's 3 years later and we're just having the meetings with the auditors, but we've done everything we can do. It's up to the state. So we had the meeting last Friday, which was probably the 20th or so. They're coming in here at the end of April. So we still have February, at least a 3 to 4 month wait before they're gonna come in to do their field work, and then we probably won't get results on that till next September or October.
They being who?
They being the state of Connecticut.
Who within the state of Connecticut?
The school it's Department of Administrative Services, the school construction unit.
So how are the grants handled now at the schools? Like, is it Howard that does them? Who does the grants?
Which types of grants?
I don't know.
Education wise, I can't speak to anything.
Special, I think you have to have special expertise to do it, I think.
On the school construction ones, they have to by statute be done by the superintendent, but that's just going under his signature. The last couple of small ones that we had were done by, actually the middle school was, Annie Ortiz and myself did it, with Olga. And the smaller ones now going on for all the HVAC projects, we hired a company called CSG Group that wrote the grants for us.
And my point is that if the school stuff is so specialized, you know, I'm okay with like the school managing or writing the grants. My point was that the grant administrator must be involved though, so that they understand exactly what's happening at every point in the process. And if there's a question, then you could go to that one person to ask whatever the questions are. So to, you know, relay the concerns that you have about confidentiality and such. So, but beyond that, I don't see why the administrator can't or shouldn't be doing every aspect of it.
You're not gonna get one person that's gonna be able to handle everything.
But how many do we actually have? I mean, I don't know what
On the school side?
no, in general, it just, do we have 20 grants going on in the town?
Probably on the town side, you probably have 20 of them going on, some being larger, some being small. And some small ones that we don't have the time to apply for, like the Matthews Fund. I can throw a few $1,000s out to you if you apply for something, but just the hours it takes to get it to you. Go after $5,000 for say a speed wagon or one of those radar things for the police department? Or do you put your efforts into, going after the $1 million grant for the, recreational trails?
But when you say that one person can't handle it, you know, I would push back on that, because if you have the right person doing the job, I'm not saying that person is right or wrong,
Yeah.
but if you have the right person doing that job, you're not working every grant every single day. You know, things are staggered. Things, after you submit something, they go dormant for a while. You're working on new grants. It's really just project management skills.
And maybe you're right, once we get these schools out of the way, and once we get, ARPA's out of the way. But right now, I can tell you, ARPA's every quarter, we have to go back and report everything to ARPA, how we spent every little penny, and, it's probably 2 weeks worth of work every quarter.
That's gone.
So, but it's going as of, December of 26.
I'll tell you, as far as the grant writer, it's great that on-site and all the construction, all the buildings, and I consider those school buildings too. But there is a special expertise to do that, the special ed and everything. I don't think, you can't mix those two jobs. It's impossible. So they have to be there. Now, I don't know who does it on their side. They do have somebody there that does the grants.
I don't know.
Yeah, there is somebody there. By the way, you wanna start reconstructing those meetings with Howard? Not yet, okay,
Yeah,
alright.
I'm spending my whole life in meetings. Tomorrow's a meeting with FEMA, every Tuesday's a FEMA meeting.
Did you see, not mentioning anything, but somebody suggested they do away with FEMA? And also doing away with the VA, which they got a gazillion responses to that one fast, and that got reneged, right? Well, you know, I don't know.
Putting FEMA to the state level is gonna, it's not gonna hurt a state like California, cause they can build it in.
Mm-hmm.
But what's a state like Mississippi gonna do when they get, destroyed from a hurricane coming in off the Gulf and they don't have the resources of the federal government? Mississippi, Alabama, Louisiana, your poorer states are gonna get, they're not gonna have the resources to put it back in the state.
I don't know. You know, was FEMA run right? Who knows? Nothing, everything could always be improved.
Or what do you do if the state of Rhode Island, I mean, the entire
Yeah.
state of Rhode Island is so small, could get destroyed in one hurricane. You don't have the resources locally to do it.
So I think we're through amendments to agenda. Audience of citizens. Audience of citizens. Audience of citizens. Artie, audience of citizens?
Good.
Huh? You wanna get the board all the favorable stuff from the state? No? Okay, old business none. And new business, discussion on the 25-26 budget, okay? Actually, tomorrow's, like, informally has always been our start to the budget season. Go meet with the Board of Ed. And I understand they're gonna give us an inkling of what they're looking for tomorrow. And, we'll see, they go through all the different projects. You know, it's carries on for a couple hours anyway, but it's nothing we haven't done before. And it's good, gives us a little starting point on the budgets. What do we start, about March, Jim, for the town?
The selectmen will turn it over to you on the, after the first Wednesday in the month of March. They vote on it the first Wednesday in the month of March, so you'll get it the following Monday. And that's why I just put this on the agenda, so everybody can look at their calendars and figure out what days and times work for everybody. So when you probably have your February meeting, you can adopt the calendar.
Now, last year we got complaints and, I got threatened with a fine, not for having the minutes at when we have the departments there, and we haven't done that for years, okay? So, even if we don't vote, we have to have minutes, okay? So, we'll try to get through that as fast as possible, but we have to do it. And are any of the, Board of, Selectmen doing the minutes this year for departments? Cause I didn't see last year's.
Yeah, I guess we have to.
Just defend Arnie, I haven't even talked to the Board of Selectmen about the budget yet. I'm so far behind, I figure
Yeah.
I'll probably be getting it to them around the middle of February, and that'll give them 2 weeks to go through it.
Now, in our annual budget, how are we doing on that?
Other than, the insurance account, which is because of the flood, there's no major, differences. The one place you will have a problem is gonna be, if and when the police contract is ever settled, cause that goes back a few years.
Now, I did ask you if you could do it. They probably shouldn't do it for you. The first raise you guys gave out, the supervisors. I said, who got the raises and how much?
I can get it for you. We haven't calculated them yet. Nobody's gotten a penny yet.
Okay, and the last raise too for the non-supervisor. Who got it and how much?
We can get it for you.
Cause that was not in our, that stuff was not carried in our budget.
You mean the non-union, the non-union?
Yeah, there's two.
Yeah.
Okay.
Could I just ask a generic question about the budget meetings, and I don't know if it goes to Jim as well, but, you know, we talked about, how going line by line is, to me, I think it's overbearing. So, I'm just throwing this out there. What if we had decided that, let's just pretend, the finance department had a $200,000 budget last year, and we said, this year it's gonna be $220,000, or it's gonna be $180,000. And we say to the finance department, or any department, here's a list of your 20 categories, your 30 categories, fill in what your budget's gonna be, and let them be accountable to their specific line item, so that we're not sitting there and saying, we're gonna remove $500 from 1,000 in this line item.
Well, you know the thinking behind that?
I don't know, I'm asking.
Well, at the end of the run, we're looking for more, like, we're looking for another $200,000.
No, but
So we go.
it's no different than
We'll
today.
take a typewriter wherever you go.
But it's no different than today, when we sit there all this time and we go line by line by line, and then at the end of and then in September or October, we do these transfer requests.
It's within the department.
That's what I'm talking about,
Yeah.
within the department, so
So you
why
wanna
not
give
give
the
them
department one number?
accountability? What?
You wanna give the department one number?
No, I'm saying, why don't you give the department one number,
Yeah.
you know, and then let them allocate the money how they see fit into those individual line items, taking salaries and benefits out of the equation. But your pop is, I'm just making this up, $50,000 for the rest of your line items. Let them worry about it. And instead of us, you know, sitting here and worrying about every little line item.
Isn't that what we do with the Board of Ed? Kind of?
Well, yeah, I mean, that's what we do with the Board of Ed.
With the Board of Ed, yes, because we don't have line item.
But then they have to
Right,
report
but
back
then-
to us with
but
their
they-
budget.
They could come, they could,
to use
We have
the
to
money.
look at the actual compared to the budget, first of all, so this is we need to come up with a realistic number and say, well, last year you did this,
Yeah,
take into account certain things that we know are gonna cause an increase.
Yeah.
And say, all right, realistically, your bottom total should be either the same or 5% less, depending on what it is. Here you go, here's your money.
now come back to us with your budget, like give it to us so that we have it, but
well,
here
they do
you're.
that, they give us the budget.
Yeah, but have them worry
Yeah.
about allocating it themselves instead of us sitting here for hours and saying $500 to this item, $1,000 for
On the
this.
town side, it's salaries and benefits. There's what, 80% of your budget? Salaries and benefits.
Yeah, but we worry about books,
Yeah.
conferences,
We-
we worry
the
about
reason
all
is
these
that
little things.
we're back to a quarter of a mil or something like that. We're trying, in the past, we've been trying to get that up. Okay, it's, you could just say here, you know, it's just, there's very little movement on the town side. It's all salaries and benefits, okay? And the one problem I have on the town side, and it'll always be, is the medical. School board's paying 23% for the medical, and the town side is paying 12. That's not right, and that's one side I have, okay? But we can move on.
So I'm just, I just don't know what people's thoughts are on that.
I agree with that.
Okay, we could
Talk about it.
talk about it, sure.
Definitely agree with
There's certain items though that, like the overtime for the police and everything, that, you know, you set them a goal, because you let them set it.
No, I'm talking about the
Yeah.
salaries and benefits, we'll
Yeah.
set the number, but
Right.
I'm saying everything beyond
Yeah.
salaries and benefits, we shouldn't worry about conferences and books and this and that. Give them a responsibility, instead of us like worrying about $50 here and $100 there. That's just my opinion.
Make my life easier.
Make your life easier, yeah, they don't have to give us, you know, the
And
backup to the big book.
backing up what Brett says, I know by charter we gotta go through line by line, but backing up what you're saying, you go through and $100 here, $100 there. You need an awful lot of items to come up with $170,000 to move the mill rate a tenth of a mil.
We've done it though. We've gone in there a couple of years there where we were gonna have an increase, and we moved stuff around.
Yeah.
Okay?
Well, the big dollars come from, when you start cutting out the capital or something, it's
The
like.
capital, that's the other thing,
Jim,
capital budget. And last year we didn't, and we put all into LoSiP.
Yep.
Okay? Yeah, I hear you.
Capital.
I don't wanna sit here doing penny stuff either.
Capital, I'd love to see $1 amount put into the budget, but then after the budget's settled down in the month of probably June or July, have the Board of Selectmen and Board of Finance sit down and say, okay, what are the real priorities? Where do we have to spend the capital, instead of trying to do it while you're trying to do everything else and you're not giving it the detailed thought, almost like having a secondary budget process on the capital after the budget's approved.
Jim, the way, Brett, presented how he would like us to do the budget.
It's just a
totally-
suggestion,
yeah,
that's how we should do it.
No, but
Yeah.
a suggestion, and
Yeah.
I agree with that. Is that how the Board of Selectmen also do their budget? I'm thinking that they do their budget the way in which, Brett suggested. I don't know if I'm
Board of
gonna
Selectmen
answer that, could you?
for a couple of years, we did it where
Oh, there you go.
the Board of Selectmen met from 8 AM to 6 PM on a Friday, and went through every line item with every department.
Oh, okay.
Caught some grief from some of the departments because I didn't feel they got a fair shake, even though they were submitting it in writing what their budget was for. So then last year, the selectmen started meeting with the departments again. And that's what I said earlier, I haven't talked to Arnie, I haven't talked to George as far as what the plans are for this year. Personally, I like the Friday and just bang through it all in one day.
I'll tell you that, it's good and it's bad, you're still, people are getting paid to be department heads. Let them sit there and tell us what they're gonna do, okay? And we found out a lot doing that. We were way back with the pump for the sewer, way before everybody else. You remember I tried to stick it into ARPA, way back, okay, we were way back on some of the stuff with the schools that we pushed and pushed for. Way back when they told us they'd come here, they would tell us, they wouldn't tell anybody else. They didn't know how to put through a capital project, okay? Till we, pushed that. Now, to have the department here, there's one department that, I told them, they have internal problems. And I says, they're not gonna get a penny from this finance board till you straighten that out. And I don't know if you think of who I'm talking about, but, personally, I think they straightened it out for now.
And I'm not advocating not having the department heads come in here and present us their
Yeah.
budget, but let them craft their budget instead of us crafting their budget for them. We give them guide rails.
Oh, yeah, that's what it should be, they should.
Don't they craft it, it's just they don't have the guidelines.
But we
We're
sit
trying to
here,
cut,
yeah.
because we're trying to cut it, we're
Yeah.
coming up with a number.
But I think what we said, my view would be, is we say from the beginning, we're only gonna accept $100,000 in total for that department. And if that's a 10% reduction, then you've gotta figure out what line items you're gonna use the $100,000 for. So that we're not then sitting here and trying to reduce it even further.
Right, but in order for us to do that, we'd still have to look at what they spent
Yeah.
compared to the budget. So we're kinda technically doing it first and then saying, here's the new bottom line you allocated.
I mean, it's just a,
Cause you can't just pick a number out of it.
What everybody's comfortable with, to do it their own way, as long as we come up with a concise budget that we all agree on, And this year we got, reval, we got it, it's gonna be, there's a lot of crazy things gonna be this year. And what I could tell you is, one piece of advice is, don't estimate to anybody what the mill rate's gonna be. Because when you estimate it, the word gets around fast, okay, real fast. And then they'll try to hold everybody to it, because I have no clue. I have no clue, it went up last year, could it go up this year, I don't know.
Do we know if, what the final grand list is at this point?
No.
No?
No.
At what point does that get finalized?
Normally it's by the end of January. This year, we've asked for an extension to the end of February because of the reval and with the exodus of staff in there. We're losing all of our staff to other towns, so they're paying $40,000 more a year than we are.
Are we still left with the one person in that department?
One person.
Okay.
I hope they're remedying that.
What's up?
I hope they, try to
Are they hiring?
strengthen the department up.
Yeah, they're hiring, but there's a process you have to go through. It has to be posted with union members for so many days, and even though you know nobody's gonna apply for it, then you gotta put it in the newspaper, and then you gotta give so long for the applications to get in. It's just a long, drawn-out process. I think at best, you're lucky if you get somebody walking in the door here in 6 weeks.
That's a tight, honestly, gonna make it even February. That's tight.
What's that?
To have the final assessment value out, the grand list.
It's gonna be real difficult, and then how many people are gonna appeal their assessments? I think we had 100 and, I think the number was over 150 people that filed for informal hearings on their assessment notices they got. That's not done with us, it's done with the reval company.
Just curious, the process that the assessor's office has to go through now, since you're saying they asked for the extension. What is the extension for? Is it entering data into a computer? Like what do they have to do?
The extension is, we have to report our numbers to the state of Connecticut, and the assessor has to sign on the bottom line saying the grand list of the town of Oxford is X, and they have to put their signature on it.
But what's the month delay needed for? Is it entering data into a computer? Is it filling out paperwork? What is it?
It's waiting, right now it's waiting for the reval people to finish their informal hearings to give us numbers. Because they might have met with Victor, and he showed them how his house was worth $30,000 less, and they said, yeah, you're right, now they have to go back and adjust the numbers and give them to us.
Okay.
So you're saying if it wasn't for Victor, that'd have been all done? Is that what you're saying?
I didn't meet with them, they didn't adjust anything.
So, well, I could see. Anybody got the tax collector report? That's all we have. You didn't do where we stand with the contingency.
We haven't used anything, we just finished up last year. Now, the tax collector really doesn't tell you anything now because we got some hefty January payments that people sent in December, whether it's for federal income tax purposes or what, I don't know. But it makes the numbers look like we're having a banner year.
Yeah.
But you really have to wait till the end of February before you can see where we're going, because
All the banks are in too, she said.
in here, there's only 2 banks in here.
In here?
Over the weekend, we had a couple more banks that went in, but some of them aren't gonna mail it in until February 1st. We won't process it until February 3rd. That's why I say it's gonna be the end of February before you really know where we stand.
Well, we're standing pretty good right now.
So we've, just a quick question, the budget for sewer was 500,000, we've already collected 618? So we're $118,000, positive there?
Yep.
And that's all you're gonna collect for the year.
Yeah,
I think they send their bills out in November.
Mhm.
but still you're positive 118,000, so.
Do we know why aircraft is so high?
Do not,
Second busiest airport in the state, right, I think?
not busy, the second longest runway.
Second longest runway, okay.
I don't know, I would say Tweet's probably the
Second busiest, yeah.
busiest anyway. That's because they're allowed to do commercial flights. Oxford, can't do a commercial flight. They could pick you up in your jet and fly you and everything, but they can't do, like you can't have United Airlines go in there and start taking flights out there. There's an agreement between Bradley and Kennedy, they can't do it. I can't understand with the airport is that big building up there that's just in there. We get no tax dollars out of that,
Nothing.
you know? And I got two clients that have planes up there, and they bought buildings, they've had them for years. At the end of let's say they paid $100,000 for them. At the end of it, I don't know how many years is left on that, but it's maybe 20 years. At the end of that 20 years, you're out. You don't own nothing.
Goes back to the state.
Goes back to the state. Is there a reason nothing's taxable there? I don't.
We tried to push for it, it was back when Mary Ann was first selectman, to have all that taxable and also, have the aircraft being actually taxable, cause here they're only paying a usage fee
That's it.
of $400 or $500 per plane. And the uproar came down from the state and it was like, no, we can't do it.
That's why everybody's a demand that wants a hangar in Oxford. The only thing that they kill is the gasoline. It's almost twice as high as you can find the Columbia County in New York, and it's way low.
Well, pilot was telling me that he'll keeps his plane at Oxford, but when he has to fuel it, it's cheaper to take off and go up to the Albany area and fill it up.
Columbia County.
Okay.
Yeah. Go on. Okay. Anything else? Anybody?
So tomorrow night, 5:30.
5:30 tomorrow night at school. We should put you down for a steak. Put your steak and egg. Okay. And, what dessert? You want a flop? You want
Lemon meringue pie.
Okay. That's
That sounds good.
okay.
Can we have
Alright.
key line too?
Motion to adjourn.
Second? Did you make the motion?
No, you make it.
Motion to adjourn.
Okay. All in favor?
That's my favorite pie.